What if there was an ant so imposing that even seasoned explorers of the insect world stopped in their tracks? An ant so large, so formidable, that it practically redefines what most people imagine when they hear the word ant. Well, that's exactly what we're about to uncover. Meet Myrmecia forceps, a rarely seen species from the land down under that stuns anyone who crosses its path. You might think you've seen it all when it comes to bull ants, but this one has a twist, a remarkable form of mimicry, an unexpectedly shy disposition at first, and a sudden surge of aggression when the time is right. If you've never heard of this mysterious giant, prepare to be amazed. Let's begin with the fundamentals. Myrmecia forceps belongs to the infamous bull ant genus, known for formidable mandibles and stinging power. These ants roam various regions of Australia, though pinpointing exactly where they thrive can be a challenge, as localized populations often spring up in areas with surprisingly different climates. The most striking feature of M. forceps has to be its proportions. Picture a queen measuring around 27 millimeters in length, already a remarkable size for an ant, and then focus on her head, unusually broad, heavily muscled, and built like a fortress. This isn't mere decoration. Those enormous jaws hint at the species' potential for dispatching prey or deterring predators. Why do so many people fixate on them? Part of the fascination stems from those robust mandibles. A closer look reveals fewer, larger serrations along each jawline, setting them apart from other bull ants. When they clamp down, the force is downright intimidating. Enthusiasts often describe an encounter with a single foraging worker as a heart-pounding moment, partly because you instantly realize this is no ordinary ant. It's a specialized hunter, engineered for survival in one of Earth's harshest environments. And if you think the workers are impressive, the queen reigns supreme. Her presence alone can dominate an entire formicarium, overshadowing many other ants in both size and confidence. At this stage, you might wonder why this species hasn't become more mainstream in ant-keeping circles. Many do keep them, of course, but they are still considered a prize, the kind of hidden gem that some collectors spend countless hours seeking. Some rumors claim that their populations can be patchy or local, making them difficult to find consistently. Others say it's their incredible adaptability that allows them to remain elusive, blending into diverse habitats across Australia's vast terrain. Either way, the hunt for Myrmecia forceps queens adds to the mystique that surrounds them. One of the biggest jaw-droppers about Myrmecia forceps is something they share with a few other bull ant species: mimicry. More specifically, they appear to imitate the coloration and general look of abundant or more notorious bull ants within the same region. You might see a colony in New South Wales bearing the same red and black patterns common to Myrmecia similima, a far more numerous species. The theory is that this is a form of Batesian mimicry, where a less common species adopts the colors of a more intimidating one to scare off predators, or at least to make predators think twice. But here's where the whispers of controversy come into play. Some experts argue that the mimicry might just be a coincidence of parallel evolution. They claim there isn't enough hard data to prove that Myrmecia forceps is purposefully imitating their color patterns to confuse enemies. Others believe it's an undisputed example of adaptive genius, pointing out that forceps can resemble different species depending on which part of Australia they hail from, a strong indicator of localized mimicry. The debate keeps going, with new sightings and analyses popping up year after year. Whether it's a deliberate adaptation or not, the effect is undeniably clever. Predators familiar with the well-defended bull ants of the region see those distinctive hues and think, not worth it. Consequently, Myrmecia forceps may slip under the radar, rarely targeted by bigger animals that would otherwise pose a threat. While the research community ponders over the deeper how and why, the rest of us can't help but admire the striking colors of these ants: bold reds, inky blacks, or even orange-tinged abdomens that stand out against the Australian bush. No matter where you land on the debate, there's a consensus about one thing: M. forceps exemplifies the complexity of nature's survival tricks. What seems at first like just another bold bull ant color scheme may be a carefully crafted camouflage designed to keep threats at bay. A curious twist sets Myrmecia forceps apart from other bull ants: the queen's initial behavior. She starts off shy, almost reclusive, seldom straying far from her brood chambers. You might peek into her enclosure only to find her quietly guarding a cluster of eggs, rarely venturing out even for the simplest tasks. During these early days, she seems focused, cautious, and distinctly wary of the outside world. It's as if she's saving her energy for the moment that truly matters. But this timid facade can vanish in an instant. When those eggs hatch into hungry larvae, the queen undergoes a startling shift. Suddenly, she's no longer hiding. In fact, she becomes bold, fearless even, prowling her territory in search of live prey. Why the drastic transformation? The explanation is simple. Bull ant larvae require a protein-rich diet to develop properly, and that means hunting or scavenging insects. The queen can't afford to cower. Survival of her next generation hinges on her ability to secure fresh meals. It's a sight that leaves many keepers astonished. One day, the queen barely moves when observed. The next day, she lunges at a passing cricket or mealworm with surgical precision. Anecdotes of keepers opening the nest only to find the once timid queen fiercely defending her brood are plentiful. Some even say this intense maternal drive is part of what makes forceps so thrilling to keep, though it can be intimidating. After all, when an ant of this size decides it's time to hunt, you definitely don't want your fingers in the way. Keeping bull ants, especially a titan like Myrmecia forceps, isn't as straightforward as it might sound. First, there's the sting to consider. A bull ant's venom is potent enough to cause alarm, with some victims reporting intense pain, swelling, and lingering discomfort. While not typically life-threatening, the sting is severe enough to make even experienced hobbyists take extra precautions. Then there's the ecological angle. Critics argue that harvesting wild queens could disrupt local populations, especially in areas where they aren't abundant. Over-collecting is a genuine concern, fueling rumors that certain localities might eventually impose tighter restrictions on capturing bull ants. Accusations surfaced in some regions, claiming a handful of collectors were hoarding large numbers of queens, possibly damaging local ecosystems. Whether those stories are exaggerated or not, they've sparked heated debates about ethics and conservation among ant enthusiasts. On social media, you'll find people praising forceps as a highlight of their collections, while others call them an ecological risk or a moral gray area. The tension often stems from how little the general public understands about bull ants. They see the large mandibles, hear about the painful sting, and jump to conclusions. Yet dedicated keepers argue that with proper care and a thoughtful approach to collection, these ants can thrive in captivity without posing any environmental threat. Underneath it all, there's an ongoing discussion. Are we risking this species' well-being just for the thrill of keeping something rare? Or does captive breeding actually reduce pressure on wild populations, as some breeders assert? The debate is far from settled, adding another layer of intrigue to the forceps story. Australia's climate is nothing if not diverse, ranging from scorching deserts to lush rainforests. Myrmecia forceps, known for its adaptability, can handle an impressive spectrum of environmental conditions. But what happens as climate patterns fluctuate? Rumors swirl that forceps might expand beyond its usual range, especially if rising temperatures allow them to thrive in areas once deemed unfavorable. Some researchers suggest that new sightings of these ants in slightly cooler southern regions might hint at a slow migration or adaptation in progress. Of course, speculation runs rampant. Could these ants become problematic if they appear in regions where they lack natural predators or competition? Are there concerns that, under the right conditions, they might turn invasive? At this point, hard data is scarce, and many experts caution that we shouldn't jump to conclusions. Still, the possibility catches the attention of environmental watchers. The bull ant's robust nature, combined with its capacity to exploit new habitats, could indeed lead to unexpected scenarios. Amid the unknowns, some watchers stay optimistic, pointing out that bull ants often help control pest populations by preying on certain insects. Others remain apprehensive, recalling cautionary tales of non-native species turning into ecological nightmares once they gain a foothold. While forceps is native to Australia, climate shifts can warp ecosystems in unpredictable ways. If these ants find themselves thriving in a brand new region within the continent, or beyond, in the extremely rare event they hitch a ride overseas, there's no telling how local flora and fauna might respond. In every corner of our world, nature is brimming with surprises, and Myrmecia forceps serves as a stunning example of just how intricate those surprises can be. From the sheer size and power of their queens to their cunning mimicry strategies, there's no shortage of marvels to explore. At first glance, they might seem like just another big ant, until you recognize the subtle differences in their mandibles or the way their colors shift to mimic a nearby species. Then you notice how a timid queen transforms into a bold hunter, driven by the life or death needs of her brood. And let's not forget the swirling controversies in the background, where questions about ethics, ecology, and even climate change add depth to an already fascinating picture. So what does this mean for you, the intrigued viewer? Perhaps it's a reminder that the animal kingdom is never as simple as it appears. Even creatures as seemingly straightforward as ants can harbor countless secrets beneath their exoskeletons. If you're feeling inspired to keep a bull ant colony of your own, make sure you understand the responsibilities involved. Ethics, safety, and a genuine respect for the species should guide every step. If you prefer to admire them from afar, that's perfectly valid too. The natural world benefits from observers and stewards alike.